Good morning, Year 5. Let's discuss about the shadow because this is your revision, and now again start this revision, that is the review of Unit 5. So this is my discussion questions in which what did you observe, what did the shadow do? The shadow is always, when some hurdle is coming in between the light source, then what happened? They are blocked the light and the shadow formed. And what type of the materials actually they have which block the light totally? This is definitely the opaque materials. When was the shadow the longest and where was the sun? When the sun, we are talking about the sundial. In the old days they are using the sundial in which they are getting the time idea that how much time is by the position of the sun. So right now when the sun coming from is appears from the east and it sunset in the west, but in these two types what happened, the sun is always be in the lowest height in the sky. So when the sun is in the lowest height, it means the shadow will be the longest one. And when the sun at the peak of the sky, then what happened means the height of the sun in the sky is very high. So the shadow will be the shortest one. Now, the question number 4 is, why do you think the shadows change the length? How can you explain what you are observing? In my observation is only the position of the sun and the height of the sun. It depends on this. Otherwise, there is no way that how they changes their length, right? How could you use a shadow to tell the time of the day? Because with the help of their shadow, we are just measuring their length and we tell you that what is the timing now. If it is in your right side, it means it's a daytime. If the shadow in your left side, it means it's a night time. And if it is longer shadow, it means the time is starting of the day or ending of the day, right? How accurate were your prediction? What could you do to make them more accurate? We are using only the one stick and the one paper, and we are putting in our ground, and then time by time we go and just make the measurement of the shadow. This is all about. And one stick is always be more in a fixed space. It's not like the stick is moving. Actually, stick is not moving, only moving the sun. So the shadow is moving there. That's all. Now, actually, this is your book question. Again, we are going to check this because right now we don't have any book. We are just starting this one now. So the question number 1 is, how did the shadow stick experiment copy and complete this sentence about the shadow length at different time of the day? Choose the correct alternative. Between 8 and midi, the shadow becomes shorter or longer. Now, from 8 to midi, now they are talking about 8 to midi, 8 to 12. So definitely it comes from look here. It is shorter. Why it is shorter? Because at 8 it is more, and then it is become shorter and shorter, and till 12 it's become the shortest one. And now between midi and 16 the shadow becomes longer. Why? I told you from your left side it will be longer, from the right side it will be shorter. The shadow is longest and longer at sunrise and sunset. Sunrise and sunset are those times in which the shadows must be longest one. Because the sun is their height is less in the sky. The shadow is longest or shorter in the middle of the day. In the middle, the sun height is longer, more, so their shadow will be the shortest one. Traveling the car through the tunnel is the 10-kilometer long, and the first is a completely dark in the tunnel. Then after the 5 minutes, Julio says, look, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know what happened? If I have this type of tunnel, then what happened? Light is always moving in a straight line, right? You can see in the end of this, but when your car coming from here to here, then it's able that you can see the sunlight from the second end, right? So this is the two part. When it is coming from in the turn, it is you are able to see the end of the corner, right? Explain why the boys could not see the light at the end of the tunnel to begin with. Why the tunnel? Because it's turned. Because tunnel is turned. When you go in the end of the turn, you can able to see the light. Now, how shadow form? Shadow can easily formed by an obstacle. When an obstacle comes through the when some light, when in the way of the light some obstacle is there, so shadow is formed because that obstacle blocked the light. Now here, any two material, you can choose any two material from here for the opaque materials, from translucent material, from transparent material, right? Here this question is really important here, in which they said how cut out his puppet from cardboard and stuck it on a stick, but the shadow was too big for his screen. So what is Chad using for a light source? If you want to make it smaller, for the puppet smaller, then what he's going to do, number one, he need to away the source of the light, away. Right? Number two, what is Chad using for a screen? For a screen, what he is using, he need to make it away. The screen also make it away, because if the screen is near, the shadow is bigger. Describe two ways in which Chad could make the shadows smaller. Number one, he need to make the light away from the object, puppet. Number two, or he make the puppet away from the light source. Then he is able to make it small. Right? Thank you so much, my dear.